Last month I made a video where I converted a load of Mark 6 Marines to take the Champions of Slaanesh box set and turn it from a 33 model box set to a 53 model box set and double in just how much you can get in a single box. And that is by far my best performing video ever, so this week I'm doing it again. This time with the flawless blades, which were also very kindly sent to me by Games Workshop. Now with the last video, obviously that was a large box and you trying to get like the most value out of it using miniatures that you could buy off the shelf. And obviously if you wanted more flawless blades, you could just go out and buy some. However, the interesting thing about this one is about saving money this time. Even though the other video you kind of save money anyway because 20 Mark 6 Marines is way cheaper than 10 Infractors. But today I'm going to build 9 flawless blades from one box with a little help and some creativity. It's all the same, we're doing it again. The Flawless Blades is the newest kit for the Emperor's Children, the Elite Infantry, the trademark 3 dudes in a box per army. They come with 2 sprues, but the larger sprue is essentially 2 smaller sprues still attached together, so it's essentially 1 sprue per Flawless Blade. Just like last time, the Flawless Blades come with a bunch of options, which is going to be very helpful.
I think we can do it again. And I know what a lot of you are going to say, well, Mikey, well, you're so cool. If you buy more Space Marines, you get more Space Marines. But a lot of you are forgetting the price, aren't you? Flawless Blade, I don't know the price when I'm filming, but Sanguinary Guard, £37.50 for 3. Inner Circle Companions, £37.50 for 3. You know what isn't £37.50 for 3? A pack of Possessed, which are £40 for 5. Now, if we can make another 3, we're not saving that much money, we've just got 2 random Possessed. But what if we grab 1 more Possessed body and make 6? That's 6. For like 40 odd quid. That sounds like a saving. And don't you forget the savings!
So if we want to do this conversion, the first thing we need to do is to build the first 3 flawless blades. Now in typical Games Workshop fashion, they've tried to hide the gaps, but when you put the legs together, the front plate and the back plate don't quite meet properly, so it leaves a big gap. So just be aware of, be ready to do some gap filling if you want the flawless blades to be truly flawless. However, the nice thing is every flawless blade comes with a bunch of options. They come with optional arms and optional heads. So after doing some gap filling with sprue goo and sanding it smooth, I built the first 3 flawless blades, pretty much following the instructions, using the Executioner long blades. In the book, all the weapons are the same, they don't really have a choice, so feel free to use whatever you like. It's also going to allow us to mix and match later.
Also, this is my cat Inky. Hi Inky. He's gone, he's got the treat. There's none left. You know why? Yeah, it's because 80% of people haven't bothered subscribing, so I can't get us any more. If only 80% of people would bother to subscribe, he could have another treat. So spare, we're going to have 6 of the Flawless Blade heads, we're going to have 3 shoulder pads, which is handy. We've got 4 of each left and right arm, so 4 pairs of weapons, and then 1 long blade. So that's going to make 5, and then we've got enough heads for 6. What I was thinking, you get like the duelist blade with the... Oh my god, they're literally the same size. I think the duelist blades, are these the power swords or the duelist blades? Because if you built the Champions of Slaanesh, which is likely because you've bought this box, you're kind of left with a bunch of power swords. This is a duelist blade, look, I think. No, they're literally the same size. This is a duelist blade. It's ever so slightly smaller, but like nothing, you know? But I think you can probably get away with it. So with all these spare swords from the Champions of Slaanesh box, from the Noise Marines and the Infractor kit, I think you got loads. I think we can do this. And plus they're possessed, you know? They're literally possessed things, so maybe they won't have a chain axe, but they'll definitely have like pincers, you know? That's very Slaanesh in my opinion. So I think with a little bit of thought and a little bit of creativity, I don't think it's going to be quite as good as the Mark 6 to Infractors. However, I mean, this could work really well.
So for the first flawless blade, I went a little intense. The next 4 are going to be easier, but I feel like this is relevant. So once I clipped the first possessed parts off, I compared it to a flawless blade and saw that the scale was basically perfect. So I started dry fit to see how the possessed went together, and I knew that I was going to remove at least the left arm because that would be replaced with a blade. I kind of figured a giant pincer could be a gift from the Dark Prince, you know, it's Slaanesh, a choppy claw is probably fine. So I clipped off the left arm using my clippers, and then once I glued the body together, I started chopping away the uneven plastic so it'd be flat so I could fit a sword arm on. So using my trusty sprue glue, I filled the gap and replaced it with a sword. And if you want to, that could be it. That could be the entire conversion. But I went a little intense on this one. Obviously, the flawless blades have like healed feet, but the possessed have like cracked armor and things coming out of it. So for some reason on this one, I decided to chop it all off. And then I started sanding it all away and then filling the gap that I'd left with the knife with sprue glue. And then once that had dried, I went in and smoothed it out again, filed it, sanded it, and then I used a scriber to re-indent where the trim was supposed to be. None of this is necessary because you can just say, well, the flawless blades move faster, so they've been gifted the gift of weird demonic feet from the dark god. I just thought it was a bit too much and I was experimenting, so this is the first one. As I said, the rest are a lot easier. And again, for the head, obviously the flawless blade come with like all of the chest exposed for where the head's gonna be, like you got like the pecs on show. So I clipped all of that off and I took a possessed head and sawed it in half so I could get the neck recess to re-glue the new flawless blade head on top. Again, I know, extreme, you don't need to do this. But it all came together. I glued on some shoulder pads, glued on the new head, and we had our first possessed blade. Pincer and sword in hand. And I realized I spent way too long on that first one, so for the second one, I made it a lot easier. I put the possessed together, clipping off both arms, and replaced them with sword arms. And then for the head, I just chopped off the pecs until it would fit into the gap, and then I filled it with sprue glue and shoved the head in, and that was it. I think I spent like 45 minutes building the first one, and then the second one took me like 10. So for the next two, I pretty much followed the same steps. I swapped the arms and swapped the heads. Fairly straightforward conversion, nothing too exciting. But for the last one, I actually noticed that the front part, the chest plate, was actually a very, very similar shape, or quite a clean cut to glue them together. It is very similar to the Emperor's Children chest plate, the ones that you actually get spare if you build the Obsessionists in the Infractor kit, which I have spare of. So I actually replaced the entire chest piece from the normal possessed body to a Slaaneshi Emperor's Children one. It like blends together really well. Just again, no milliput, no green stuff needed, all sprue glue and cutting it to almost the right size and then filling it with molten plastic and then just cleaning it up afterwards. This one's by far my favourite because it's obviously way more Slaanesh than the other ones, but that's 5 flawless blades for the same price as what 3 would cost you.
So there we go, we got 3 flawless blades, and then we've got our 5 flawless possessed. I think these have actually come out really great. Now obviously they've all got possessed legs, but you could just say that's them accepting the gift of speed because they're faster than everyone. And I guess the only complaint is you don't have like the brawler duelist shoulder pad. You have like a normal shoulder pad on this side, but this has got like a duelist shoulder pad on this side. But I think these look really good. I think this one might be my favorite. I think it looks great. I think it looks so good. This one's a bit fun, a little bit more out there. I think the head could have been better, but I think once it's painted it'll look better. I think it's just a claw with just like a random sword looks a bit weird. Maybe I should have chopped the claw off and just gone double swords. But then is this guy not just Lucius? If someone said, yeah, this is Lucius and gave him a whip, I'd be like, yeah, of course he is. It's just Lucius. But I think they've come out really good. I think they look great. I think together they look the part. They look like swordsmen, you know. So yeah, all I need now, I've got 5, 8. I need 1 more to make either 6 or 3 to 3. Now I don't know any of these sellers, but I just literally searched possessed on eBay. And in the UK, there's a guy selling each one individually for £8 each. So yeah, so like that puts our total to £47.99 plus the flawless blades, which obviously you're going to need. If I'm right about the price about the flawless blades at £37.50, that's roughly what I think they're going to be. So £37.50 for 3 plus 48 minus your discounts, obviously, minus your 20% from the Outpost. Use the link in the description. But let's say we're working with GW Retail. So £37.50 for 3 plus 48 for another 6. That's a really good saving. Really, really good saving. It's £112.50 if they are £37.50 for 9 flawless blades from Games Workshop directly. If you go this route, it's £85.49. That's like a nearly 30 quid saving, which is pretty good. And then obviously factoring you 20% off using Outpost, using my link in the description, you're saving 20% of that. And if you know someone with like a greater possessed sat in a box that doesn't have rules anymore, I don't think, or like if they've got possessed or they've done like a wacky conversion, you might be able to get these for free. I already had the possessed, which is why I'm doing it, so it just saves money for me. I mean, I'd rather save 30 quid. 30 quid, or spend 30 quid, have the real models, and then have 3 of the same model repeated, and have all those spare bits chuck in a box, you know? I know what I'd rather do.
So my final eBayed possessed arrived, so it's just a case of putting it together, following the same steps. And then I realised the biggest F-up of my life. Okay, that might be exaggerating.
It's at this fucking point that I've realised that the body doesn't come with a backpack. Why doesn't the body come with a backpack, sorry? So if you are going to do this, make sure you buy a backpack as well, or buy one with a backpack, like I should have done. God's sake. It's not going to arrive in time for the video, so no backpack.
So there we go. There's 9 flawless blades from one box, kinda. Yes, I had to buy more Marines to build it. I got 9, but slightly more than I would have paid for 6. Using my link for the Outpost, who powered the Hellstorm Wargaming, you can actually get all of this at a huge discount. So it actually works out even cheaper. But because when I'm filming I don't know the final price, you'll have to let me know down in the comments what it actually costs to build 9 this way rather than buying 9 off the shelf. So now I've got these, I can finally stop using those damn paper cutouts that I've been using in battle reports recently. And hopefully you'll see these in a game soon, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to my beautiful members for making these videos possible, and I'll catch you next time. Appreciate you, and bye-bye! I don't know why I said like that. Bye!
I was only kidding earlier, guys. They've got so many treats. Here's a treat for you, Cloud. That's because they subscribed. Subscribe for Cloud has treat. There we go. You got it. I think you want one. There we go. They both got them. Don't worry, guys. I was only joking.